A lot of questions. Jim Spellman is here to help us to put all this together. It's been a busy 24 hours, I understand. What have we learned so far? Last time we spoke, you were talking about the missile, the structure of it. Tell us more.
Let's start there. So there seems to be consensus amongst investigators around the world that this was a surface-to-air missile. Let's take a look at what we're talking about. This is called the Buk missile system. It's larger than a tank in this configuration. You can see it has four missiles. Those are about 4 meters each high. It's quite large. Why does the size matter? Because it could be seen by satellite not only when it launched the missile, but presumably before it got to that position and where it's been the last 36 or so hours.
Very quickly, the Buk missile system, who has that? Both the Ukrainians
Everybody
have
has it. The Ukrainians have it, the Russians have it, and the separatists, there are reports that they have obtained it from a defunct Ukraine base that they took over when they took over this part of the country. But this is important, dude. Also, usually configured with 2 or 3 more vehicles like this, one with radar, one command and control. This would be traveling on road. There would be witnesses. And remember, this is as much a crime scene as it is a disaster investigation, which leads us next to the crime scene. Let's take a look at what investigators are dealing with if and when they get access to that wreckage. So you can see these open fields here. We've also had reports and we've seen video of villagers, regular civilians having access to the crime scene, as well as these militia members. So at any crime scene, you want to keep clean, not contaminated.
You know what's shocking about this is, when you think of an explosion, for example, you think of small pieces coming around. These are some fairly big pieces. I mean, this is big chunks of planes that we're seeing.
There could be a lot for investigators to work with when they can get unfettered access. But the concern is not only that evidence, perhaps, of a missile strike could be taken away, but actually false evidence could be added to this missile scene. Perhaps a rocket that you want to have related to another side. Whatever the case may be, you could add something to this. The longer it goes before investigators have access.
It could be tampered with, basically.
Well, that's the concern of investigators. They want to know if what they're seeing is the truth when they get to it. The last part of the puzzle you heard Captain Weiss talking about, that's the so-called black boxes. Usually they're actually orange. There's one that records the voices in the cockpit. There's one that records data. If this was a missile strike, this, which is usually the central part of any crash investigation, could be almost worthless. It could essentially just have this flight ending with few clues. But it could possibly add information about where it was, exactly how high it was, and if it had deviated course because of weather. They may want to know those things that put it in the range and the visualization of this radar system and those missiles.
Jim Spellman, as always, thank you for helping us explain this very complicated situation.